on the anchors.
But our stats guy, Dave Milner, has said that Oregon has clearly entered a team that is not really designed to give them their best time. They are going for the points in the mile tomorrow, where they have qualified 2 of their runners there. So we expect the race to be between New Mexico and perhaps Virginia Tech. But you know what? Anything can happen. There are batons in their hands. They can be dropped. They are subject to gravity. Things happen.
Well, they've got 3 sub-4-minute milers from Virginia, 1 running 12, 1 running 8, and then 1 running the 1600 anchor leg. So we'll see what happens. The pace is very solid, not tremendous, but it's Villanova right up in the lead. Ole Miss.
And we will see Sean Tobin of Ole Miss on the anchor. He qualified barely. Oh, he will run the 800. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. He qualified barely for the mile final earlier today, so they have moved him down to the 800, and it's Robert Domanic who will be running the mile leg for Ole Miss.
Domanic said one of his great thrills in life was to be invited this past indoor season to run in the Wanamaker Mile at the Milrose Games. I chatted with him before the race, and you know, we just kind of get into Ole Miss's great tradition and how great things were. They are the defending champion in this event. 3 laps to go, and they are right now slightly under 1 minute and 29 seconds for the first 3 laps, so they're running at about a 2:59 pace or so. Sean McGorty from Stanford has the lead.
So it's Pac-12 up front with Stanford and Oregon.
Blake Haney, sub-4-minute miler in his own right, running the 1200 leg for Oregon. 1:59 through the first 800 meters of the race. And there's still speed left in these legs. I think this last lap will be the quickest of the last 400 of the race for these guys.
Notre Dame now into first place, but pretty much every team still in contention as we get closer to the end of this first 1200-meter leg. That's going to be an interesting baton exchange, as they're pretty well bunched together in the front, where they just have 200 meters to go.
Jacob Dunford leading for Notre Dame here in this 1200 leg. McGorty in third. Here comes Utah State with a great time on their own. James Beutler for Utah State.
So it's Notre Dame, Utah State, Stanford,
and Villanova,
Oregon, and then Indiana. So it's going to be a little bit of a messy exchange here. Pretty bunched up. You got to watch out, because these guys are going to run on the 400.
Right.
2 fast laps are the second leg. And we don't see a whole lot of impact through this 400-meter leg. Maybe a little bit of moving around and a little bit more spreading out.
Notre Dame, 2:56.73 for their 1200 leg.
New Mexico and Ole Miss are still well back at this point with the 400-meter leg. But of course, remember, got Josh Kerr on the anchor for New Mexico. Utah State in the lead, followed by Stanford and Oregon right together. Then Villanova and Notre Dame as they get ready to hand off for the 800-meter leg. This will be a little less congested.
By the way, Dwight, this was the deepest distance medley relay 12 teams ever in the history of this event. 9 minutes 29 seconds it took to get in, which means when you average it out, the miler is going to run 3:57 in order to do it 9:29. Crazy fast times. Utah State, look at these guys.
Oregon back and forth. That's Mick Stanovsek of Oregon, who fell in the mile. But let's take a look at this carnage from the exchange. These are always very, very dangerous. Anytime there's a baton involved, left of your screen, watch this. Boom, down goes Indiana.
That's like down goes Frazier, right?
That's what it was supposed to be. And also the athletes that are done, they don't get off the track and out of the way of the outgoing runners. That's always been a mind blower to me. Utah State continuing to lead, followed by Stanford. New Mexico is back in 6th, Virginia Tech in 7th. Ole Miss is in the rear. They're 12th with Sean Tobin running the 800 meters for the Bulldogs.
Oregon right back in the hunt here with Stanovsek. There's Villanova.
Oregon into the lead, but on the outside now comes back Virginia Tech from seemingly nowhere. Patrick Joseph running a crazy good 800 meters.
Joseph, a 147 plus 800 meter runner.
Well, he's showing all of that here.
Look at this. Look at this.
So Virginia Tech will hand off in the clear with about a 10-meter lead. Followed by Oregon, then Villanova, Notre Dame, Stanford, and New Mexico has gotten themselves well up there. They're up to 6th.
146.2 seconds for VTech. How great is that for Patrick Joseph?
But Josh Kerr is in 5th and only about 20 meters behind the leader. Virginia Tech leading over Oregon, then Notre Dame, New Mexico. What a great 800-meter leg to put Virginia Tech in the lead, but now it's just the slow grind of the milers. And the best one in the country is currently in 4th position for New Mexico and only about 15 meters off the lead. That's Josh Kerr, the sophomore from New Mexico, the defending champion in the mile.
James West running for Oregon.
Neil Gourley is on the anchor for Virginia Tech. And it's been about 3 hours since they've run that prelim for the mile, maybe a little bit more.
This is, excuse me, Virginia Tech's race to lose. I mean, should be the favorite right now. We'll see what happens, but 127 for the first, wow, 127 first 600 meters. It's like on pace for a 156 first 800 meters.
Josh Kerr is fading a little bit. He has moved back into 5th position, and he's easily 30 meters off the lead.
I don't think his day is over with yet, though, Dwight. I'd be surprised if this early in the race.
He doesn't look that fresh to me.
I understand. We still have quite a ways to go here, more than 800 meters. That's all I mean. But you're right. Now he's slipping back.
Oh, yeah. Now Villanova has passed him. Utah State has passed him. Yeah, he has no response.
Different story here.
No response for Josh Kerr for New Mexico, who has to come back and run the mile and defend his title tomorrow. But it continues to be VTech out in front by probably, I want to say, 12 to 15 meters over Oregon. Notre Dame solidly in 3rd and moving.
Gourley, 158, leading for Virginia Tech in the first 800 meters.
If they're going to contend, they got to reel him in. Just 400 meters remaining.
3 minutes by 1,200 meters of this race. 3 minutes flat. Now we're talking sub 4 minute miler here with the guy in the lead. This is a big lead for somebody in 2nd, 3rd, or 4th to overcome, as Oregon, Notre Dame are right back there.
Gourley continues to just grind away, not really leaving an opening at all. Oregon in 2nd. That's Stanford now into 3rd with Notre Dame in 4th. Josh Kerr completely out of it. They are in 11th place. He has no response.
He's just saving himself for the mile tomorrow.
Yeah. Nobody's going to catch Gourley for Virginia Tech.
Utah State moving up by the love underdogs. What a great performance.
Notre Dame now making the move. Notre Dame is going to get 2nd behind VTech and Oregon and Stanford. It's a great victory. 3:58.6 for Gourley on that anchor for Virginia Tech. So even a almost fresh Josh Kerr back 20 meters at the exchange. That would have been a big ask.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.